Ahoy, and welcome. This is Admiral. Here with some fresh news on a pretty significant water rework that will be coming to AoE 2 soon. This is tentative and subject to change, as it will first be previewed in the Thalassocracy 2 tournament in the middle of next month, and then added to the game sometime next year. This includes a new ship line, not to be confused with a ship of the line, a general dock rework, and some new technologies. I didn't expect to see news about it before the tournament, but this is right up my alley. Let's dive right into it. The first bit of news is the addition of a new type of ship line consisting of the Hulk, War Hulk, and Carrack. This is a type of boarding ship that counters fire ships and is countered by the Galley line. It deals melee damage and benefits from melee upgrades, and is upgraded along fire ships and galleys. It's unclear whether this will be similar to the original developer's tabled idea of a boarding ship by also being able to convert enemy ships, as it appears that it might just scuttle the enemy ships. There is a possibility that it can convert ships' damage to a certain degree, or as a special attack with a charge bar, but this is pure speculation on my part as there's no indication of this yet. So for now, the safe bet is that it's just a melee damage ship similar to ramming ships. And of course, this is very appropriate given how much of medieval naval warfare was dominated by boarding action. They also mention that the second page of the dock has been removed, and ship and technology locations adjusted accordingly, much to the delight of T90, although there's no indication that the dock has been split as some had suggested. Ship statistics have been modified and simplified, and I love that they use this word, arcane. Best to relieve our sailors of the burden of performing arcane damage calculations so they can better focus on navigation and combat. Galley line ships and similar unique ships, presumably caravels, longboats, and Thyrsidae, deal pierce damage as before, or melee damage for fire ships, demos, hulks, and cannon galleons, with the odd variety of bonus damage types apparently being reduced to a single type called the long-range ship class. Demo ships seem to have been nerfed as their damage is reduced, hopefully not making them much worse against land units on shallows, or precluding the possibility of Masta pizzas. They are now no longer available to civilizations that have a unique ship. Fishing ships have received a popular and oft-requested change by being able to garrison in docks for all civilizations. Docks can now hold up to 5 fishing ships, which can shoot arrows when garrisoned, and have a range of 6, which cannot be improved with upgrades. And some of the dock user interface has been freed up by putting the Q and automatic fish trap buttons on the fishing ships themselves. Here's a list of changes to existing ships, which are said to not fundamentally alter their existing relationships. Rather, it just seems to be a simplification in terms of armor and damage classes. Trade cogs can now choose between 5 different options to trade for a mix of wood and gold, which ought to make the antiquity mode checkbox entirely obsolete. Moving on to the technology reshuffling, careening, dry dock, and shipwright have all been moved to the University, freeing up more dock space, and now dry dock provides the same +1 pierce armor as careening, rather than increase in speed. And the first 2 techs have had their cost reduced. There's a mild tweak to the gill nets technology as well, which should make it about as good or better for distant natural fish, but a bit worse for fish traps. War galleys and galleons have had their names changed to medium and heavy warships, respectively. This is great, as we've talked about how galleon was a silly name for that ship, and now it's freed up to where it could appear as a larger ship, perhaps like the one we've considered. Next up, let's look at the new technologies. Fishing lines is a gill nets clone, but cheaper and available from Feudal Age. Carvel hull and clinker construction are 2 new university technologies that increase ship speed by 10% each. And siphons and incendiaries are 2 new technologies for fire ships. The first gives them an explosive charge attack, which seems like a strange choice to me given the recent inclusion of burn damage, but we'll give it a shot. Incendiaries makes fire ships explode when destroyed, like a naval version of thunderclap bombs, and stealing some of the thunder from demolition ships. Speaking of demos, they are now upgraded entirely separately. Last up, let's finish out with the civilization changes we know about. Vikings will lose access to the demolition line, but gain fire ships, and their feudal age ship discount is dropped from 15 to 10%. Japanese lose their extra fishing ship pierce armor. Portuguese lose the demolition line, but their ship hit point bonus is buffed significantly from 10% to a staggered 10, 15, and 20% by Imperial Age. Their Carrack technology is removed, and their new technology is called Circumnavigation, which sets the map to Explored, meaning there is no more black area, but you would still have the Fog of War covering areas outside of your units and buildings' line of sight. The other effect of this technology is that your ships can now train 33% faster. Since everyone is now super by having the Gurjara's dock garrison bonus, their compensation is an additional 5 garrison capacity in their docks. And the Italians' university and dock discount is reduced from 33 to 25%. Last up, the Aztecs, Cumans, Inca, and Maya gain access to cannon galleons. This is the only change here that I strongly dislike, as I believe there are workarounds that are much more appropriate. But everything else ranges from decent to great. I don't think that the splitting of gill nets and the armor and speed naval technologies is that exciting, but it definitely gives more opportunities to fine-tune balance, and the new Portuguese technology is pretty cool. The armor and attack class simplifications are of course positive developments, and the dock cleanup is long awaited. But I think that the addition of the new Hulk boarding ships is the best change of all.
We have a Hulk.
The timing on this is a little funny, as I'd recently been on a bit of a naval-themed bent myself, but I'll be excited to see how all the official changes pan out. And I have plenty of other ideas for water generally. So that's what we know about the update and a few of my thoughts, but let me know what you think about the tentative upcoming water changes, which, remember, will be previewed in the Thalassocracy 2 tourney next month, and added to the game sometime next year. That's all for today, and thanks for watching. This has been me sharing seafaring and sailing stabilizations, simplifications, and substitutions to be shipped soon. Till next time.